how to solve problems and how to be decisive and how to take initiative. But I want you to take something here. There's a lot of push. If you notice, globally, there's a lot of talk about everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Am I right? Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. But I have to tell you that we don't all have to be entrepreneurs. Don't allow yourself to be pressured. Because the boss these days is everybody wants to be a businessman. So the extent that you feel as if you are not fully there. Sorry, am I supposed to be static? So if you are not careful, you'll be under the pressure that if you are not a businessman, like you are not fulfilled. That's not right. I want to tell you that some of us will be academics. We need some of you to be professors, PhDs, to go and become researchers. We need some of you to become scholars, dean-wise, scholars for the dunya. We need some of you to be engineers. We need some of you to be entrepreneurs. We need some of you to be in the civil service. We need all that. The Ummah needs representation, right? We have to find ourselves in each and every section of the society. And of course, we need some of you to conceptualize. Even among entrepreneurs, there are some that are very good in conceptualizing, coming up with ideas, but they are not good in implementing. Are you with me? If you notice amongst your friends, that you notice that some are very good at coming up with ideas. He can bring 10 ideas in a day. Some are very good in implementing other people's ideas. Some have both. They are good in conceptualization and they are also equally good in implementation. I'll give you a few examples. A couple of you are holding probably an iPhone here. If you have an iPhone, let me see your iPhone. Okay, very few. I know some of you are holding. When the iPhone started, a lot of you don't know about Steve Wozniak. Most people know about Steve Jobs. Because Steve Jobs was the face of Apple before he died. He was the visionary, but behind Steve Jobs, there was Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak was the master coder. He was the one that had the most of the engineering of Apple. Most people don't even remember him today. What I'm trying to say here, some are good at conceptualizing, some are good at implementing your ideas, right? So we need all that. So some will have the energy to implement, some will come up with ideas. So don't put yourself in a box under pressure. If you are not, there's what I call blood group E. If your blood group is not E, have you ever had blood group E? How many blood groups do we have? A, B. There's blood group E from today. That's entrepreneurs. So if you don't have blood group E, you don't have to force yourself to become an entrepreneur. You could pick anything that you are passionate about. The most important thing is for you to develop your skills in that line that you are interested in. Don't allow people to put you in a box. Why I'm saying this is because there's so much pressure. I noticed that so much pressure. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur because we equate success with material success, with people that have established one or two things. There's nothing wrong in not becoming an entrepreneur. Are you with me? So who wants to be an entrepreneur here? You see, we have almost 50, not even 50%. Most of you are not interested in becoming entrepreneurs at the moment. But that does not mean that later on in life, you will not have a change of heart. It's very possible. At this age, you're free to start having your dream, but as you grow up, you pick up some few ideas. So, I'm supposed to talk about idea generation. As an entrepreneur, it's very important for you to know the concept of idea generation because entrepreneurship starts from there. What is an idea? An idea is a thought, a suggestion. It's a mental spark that can lead to something new. All these great things that you see today started from somebody having an idea over something, no matter how silly it was. As we go on, you hear about all these great products that we see around, how silly they were when they started. It's a spark. Ideas are everywhere. in your daily life, in problems you face, in passions you have. There are countless ideas, people with ideas from when you wake up in the morning, how you're living in your community, in your school, amongst your friends. If you're the one that has the blood group E, you see that as people are seeing problems, you are seeing solutions. Does it happen to you that way? If you'll be seeing solutions as people are complaining, there's no light. You are thinking about how do you solve this problem? People are complaining about how difficult it is to get breakfast in school. You are thinking about how do you provide breakfast? There are ideas everywhere. And I said here, there's an activity that I want you to be engaged with. Think of a challenge in your school or your community and what's the straight way forward to solve it. I want to make it interactive here. Come up with any idea. Do you see problems in your school, amongst your friends, amongst your community, in your area that you're living in, your estate? How many of you have ideas now that we can just bounce around with? Feel free to just raise up your hand if you've seen any idea since you started yesterday here. If I were you, as I come in here, I will see ideas. I can see how I can monetize this congregation. How do I make money? As I was coming in, I saw a young man taking me pictures. And then I was thinking that some of those that will give you pictures after the session, they are always around. But he came and said, I should give him my WhatsApp number. He can send it to me. I said, this is a sharp guy. Sharp, he will send it to me. First of all, I have to give him my WhatsApp number. And I asked him, is it free? He said, no. I said, but I don't have cash. So if I were him, what will I do? POS. I will sharply come out with my POS. So have you seen any ideas since you come here or from your community? Can you share with us some few ideas that you have? Please feel free. They are allowed to interject, right? Who has an idea? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
There was this idea I had, a flexible robot that could move into that have been damaged via earthquakes and bombs and be able to clear out the rubble to form a path for those stuck under.
Excellent, excellent. In terms of when there's a building collapse, right? Instead of sending human beings to go and dig out the rubble, because sometimes they also injure themselves. Excellent idea. So what she needs to do, let's see who will help her with that idea later on. We are talking about robotics there now, right? Oh yeah?
Why not a technical person could generate something, something like an explosive that all the authorized weapons in Nigeria can be registered in that particular item, so that when unauthorized weapons like the banditry with large amount of weapons are in the car, passing by, the car will just blow with that explosive.
It will explode?
The car, that particular car will just explode and
How do you see this idea? But you learn, there's no idea that is silly. What she's trying to say here is to register all weapons, right? And those that are not registered, instead of exploding, maybe to trigger an alarm. That's another good one. Oh yeah? Wa alaikum salam.
I'm actually a student from Ahmed University.
You're welcome.
So one of the things, one of the major challenges students face there is accommodation.
Excellent.
So especially the boys. So we don't have
Squatting everywhere.
everywhere. It's and everything. And congestion and everything. So I was thinking that if the university actually designed a blueprint and everything of how the hostel should be and everything. So the only thing that is left is we are looking for investors.
Investors.
Exactly, that will come so that the university will allocate the land and then they will build.
This is a very good one. And let me tell you something. This problem that you've just mentioned had been existing even when I was doing my master's in ABU. That's around 93, 94. People were facing the same problem. So that means it has been there all this while.
I don't know if you are familiar with Sasakawa hostel.
Uh-huh.
Actually, now it's no more. They have just demolished it, and now the hostels, now the number has reduced. So, and majority of students right now they face challenges trying to even afford accommodation outside the school. So each and every time.
Zaria City is supposed to be a prime real estate location. The whole of Zaria City should be turned into, because if you do hostels in Samaru, it will not be enough.
Exactly.
Excellent idea.
Suleiman was even taken from the boys now.
Again,
Yes, it's now it's being handed over to the women. But
well,
that's fine.
good idea, and don't give up on this idea, please. Excellent, excellent. So you see, one good thing about ideas is that people are talking about their ideas. It's bringing people, it's waking you up to know that you also have. Excellent. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm a co-founder of Hydro IT Limited, Katsina State.
Excellent.
Recently, I was thinking about an idea. Why should a tomato need a 3-month to grow? And why should a farmer wait 3 months for a single harvest? Then I started developing a project based on agri-tech and providing a solution to the farmers that can build a crop without a soil. And we recently make a prototype based on it. In order, like a farmer can make a whole farming without a soil and with 90% less water consumption. Because when we believe that we have land limitation, our land is for some certain crops at some certain periods. And it's limited to the farmers and with high demand for the agricultural input to the farmers. And alhamdulillah, we now built a successful prototype with the Katsina State government, and we're working on our 7 people traction currently now.
Excellent. Please give him a round of applause. Let me tell you something about what you just said. Africa has 65% of the total land, arable land in the world. 65% of the non-cultivated arable land of the world is in Africa. But still, we import over $100 billion worth of food every year. So what you're doing is not only interesting, it's going to solve food security, and I'm going to see you maybe after this talk, because that's my area of interest. Go ahead.
We have a projection to the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics, and the Nigerian Agribusiness Group, and we're currently working with the chairman of the Agribusiness Group.
Excellent.
So that to make the hybrid crops, the exotic crops that were imported in Nigeria.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Last one before we continue.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. As an aspirant who wants to be a professor of law, I think the law shouldn't just be restricted in the university.
Okay.
There are some fundamental rights and obligations that all citizens need to know at their basic levels.
Yep.
You find out that just like the female now, they'll be harassed. And sometimes they don't know their rights.
Yep.
And also, most of the citizens in Nigeria, they do not have their rights. So I'm thinking of developing a book called The Law at Your Fingertips.
Book.
It can be studied at the tender level, maybe the secondary school, or perhaps the primary, if possible, primary 6, primary 5, so that you will be built by knowing that you have a right and someone has an obligation and he must do it on you and you must protect that right. Thank you.
Excellent idea, but let me make it even better for you. Instead of writing that book, open a TikTok page and start talking about it. What do you think? You will have more impact, right? Okay, let's move on. We are going to be talking about this. So the point I'm trying to say here is, it's very easy to come up with ideas, and people always have ideas, and you've heard from the robotics to the one that is going to help us save ourselves from dangerous weapons, to the school issue, hostels, real estate, to the agri guy that's helping farmers to produce more, to the lawyer wannabe that's going to publish a book. But I just told you that to go open a TikTok page, we need to Islamize TikTok. We need to create more positive content on TikTok. And things like this will help the generation you're in. Your generation, they don't read books much. They are minimalist. They don't like reading so many things. So if you break it down into bits and pieces and maybe know your rights, right? It will go a long way. I think it's a good one. So let's make progress. So how do you generate ideas? All these ideas that came from the ladies and the gentlemen, how do you generate? You have to be curious. You have to be the one that says, why? Why I think? What if? How can this thing be better? All of them are looking for how to make things better. From the robotics to the weapons to the hostel. How do you make things better? This is how you generate ideas. And you have to observe problems. They've all observed problems. They've all observed their situations and they see opportunities. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Look around. Every inconvenience is a potential business or innovation. An entrepreneur, the definition of entrepreneurship is very wide. If you Google, you go on ChatGPT, what is the definition of entrepreneurship? You see a lot of definitions. But the one that I so much like is the one that defines an entrepreneur as a person that jumps out of an aeroplane, then he starts looking for a parachute. Do you get that? He has jumped out of the aeroplane without a parachute. That is the typical life of an entrepreneur. We are always looking for problems to solve. And sometimes you start solving that problem without knowing how you're going to solve it. Like the guy that's talking about hostels. You may start thinking about building, but you realize there's something better. That's the nature of entrepreneurship. The same thing with the robotics. The same thing with that is the nature of entrepreneurship. We are problem solvers. You have to engage yourself in brainstorming. Have your friends, with your family, sit down. Like I do this a lot with my kids. I sit down on the dinner table during breakfast. When we finish salah, sometimes at home, when I'm home, we sit down, we brainstorm. Every time we try to solve problems. What ifs? What ifs? And I learn from them. I get so many good ideas, especially your generation. I was just telling the young lady that was interviewing me outside that your generation, you don't have limitations. You are living in a world of so many opportunities. Nobody can restrict you now to a particular location. Whether you are in Abuja, or you are in Kankara, or you are in Taraba, as long as you have an internet connection, you can communicate with whoever you want to communicate, wherever. Am I right? So you have tools at your disposal that will make you better. Brainstorm. At least write 10 ideas a day. At least. Try and come up with, no matter how stupid those ideas are, try and come up with at least 10 ideas a day. And don't judge your ideas too early. Silly ideas lead to great ones. If I tell you some products now that you're using, you'll be shocked at the beginning. Do you know that Samsung, the company Samsung, started as selling dry fish? Have you ever heard that? They started as a grocery store where they were selling dry fish. Samsung. Yes, Samsung. That same Samsung that you have. It started as selling dry fish. Kayangwari. That is how Samsung started. It was a silly idea, and they kept on going, and most of these great companies, when Apple started, a lot of people laughed at them. When Bill Gates started Microsoft and he wanted to leave school, people thought he was crazy. The same thing with Mark Zuckerberg. So all these great ideas that you see, Dangote started by, trading, renting money from his uncle to trade. Now he's the richest person in Africa. So do not restrict the quality of our idea. Don't laugh at those ideas. Those silly ideas that you see, someday you'll be paying for those ideas. I'll tell you a story that happened to me physically. Some years ago, when I left salaried employment, in 2005. I was a general manager of an oil company, and I attended a conference in Lagos back then, and someone asked me something that I would like to share with you. He asked why people from my part of the country, meaning the north, why do we disappear? We don't learn stuff. We don't do stuff. We don't get mentors. We just walk and disappear. We go back to our villages and become either Dongwane or Kaza of one certain village. We like so much into titles and positions, and we don't do much. I felt challenged. I resigned from my paid employment and moved back to Kaduna as a lawyer of then about 10 years or so. I started selling waina. Some of you here maybe remember that. Maybe some of you are not born then. We were selling waina on motorcycles called waina on wheels back then. We started selling waina in 2007, September of 2007. A lot of people thought I was crazy, lawyer selling waina. I was interviewed on radio, on TV. People were coming, lawyer selling waina. You know, lawyer, barista, but he's selling waina. You know? So I became an instant celebrity. People were thinking that I was crazy. Even some of members of my family, I left the oil sector. I was a general manager of an oil company, and I'm now selling waina. Meaning, village people don't do something for me.
Sorry, sir. You don't know waina, some of them don't know.
Masa on wheels. So waina on wheels was the name of the company. In the first year, I bought 2 motorcycles. My wife had always known how to cook food. Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless her. So I encouraged her to help me start doing this waina. And she was very worried. She said, she doesn't want this. It is going to spoil the house with so much smoke. I said, okay, let's do it outside. I constructed a kitchen, bought 2 motorcycles, got 2 young men, and they started delivering waina in a park with just chicken around Kaduna. In the first year, we sold over 55,000 packs of waina. And the turnover, in 2007, the turnover in the first year was over 10 million naira. From my house with 2 motorcycles. And people were saying silly ideas. One day, someone saw my bike, overtaking them. They were driving with their father. So one of my bikers went past. So, and they were saying, look at Ibrahim's crazy idea. And their father was telling them, how can Nashi? And they're still paying me money up to today. Meaning, what I'm trying to say here is, no matter how silly that idea is, don't give up. As long as you can turn 1 kobo into 2 kobo, 1 naira into 5 naira, don't give up. As a lawyer, I never saw anything big in me selling waina. And we sold waina until it became a restaurant in Kaduna called Waina Plus. Maybe some of you that were living in Kaduna back then knew about Waina Plus. Waina Plus was operating until, I think, the COVID era shut it down. This is just to give you the origin of great ideas. It could be silly. Lawyer selling waina never added up. People think that as a lawyer, you're not supposed to be selling waina. And I was very proud of it. Was going around marketing waina, and I was interviewing people, and we were making money. I was feeding my family. So silly ideas may lead to great ones. Mix your passion with purpose. Passion is what you love doing. When you mix what you love doing, business now becomes a pleasure. You can imagine what Ronaldo is going through. Who doesn't know Ronaldo here? As in Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7, or Messi. I know you know a lot of footballers, right? Anybody that plays football loves playing football. When I was young, I used to play basketball. And I loved playing basketball. I could go and play basketball for the whole evening, enjoy myself, and I would go back the next day. Because I loved doing it. It was a passion. You can imagine if you are playing basketball and you are being paid money. Do you know how it feels? You are enjoying what you're doing. Whoever plays basketball or plays football and enjoys doing it, he likes it. It's a passion. And then you're being paid for it. So that's how it is. If you're in business and you're enjoying what you're doing, you are mixing it with your passion, like you love eating, you love food, or you love cooking, and then you translate it into a business. You love fashion, you translate it into a business. You love technology, you love coding, and you can translate it into a business. There's nothing like it. So what is innovation? What I told you was an idea, right? What is an idea and how you can generate ideas? What is innovation? Innovation is a new way of doing something better. It's a new way of looking at something and coming out with something better. It can be a product, a process, a way of thinking. A few examples here. Some of these brands, you know them. Some of them, maybe you don't know them. 2 of them, at least, I founded them and I still own them. 1 is Nigerian, 2 are global. Who can guess? Farm Easy is a company that I'm reading currently, and the Nigerian ones amongst these 2. Uber is not Nigerian. Paysabil. Who knows Pesabil here? Raise your hand if you know Pesabil. If you don't know Pesabil, then you are really, really, really far behind. Just Google paysabil.com. Paysabil is the Sadaka app that you can send Sadaka from anywhere in Nigeria to any mosque in Nigeria, including these mosques. We started Paysabil in 2020, Alhamdulillah. It is strictly Sadaka to Jariya. It's not a business, but it's a brand that you need to know. So WhatsApp, you know about WhatsApp, right? You all use WhatsApp. It's a way, it solved the problem of messaging. Uber turned private cars into public taxis. It started by Travis Kalanick. He was in Paris, traveling around, and it was raining. He was looking for taxi. There was no taxi. He and his friend, and they started thinking about, all these cars that are parked. Why can't we just create an app that people will be putting their cars, and then we'll be renting the cars, and it's now Uber, right? The same thing with MoneyPoint. You all know MoneyPoint, right? It started as Team Apt, you know. The guys were in Lagos working as consultants for banks, and they saw an opportunity. It's now bigger than a lot of banks. A lot of people don't know how strong MoneyPoint is, but they will soon know. And of course, Farm Easy that we started a couple of years ago to make farming easy for people in Africa. But the point here is all these are innovations. We didn't create anything new. We just innovated the way things are being done. Just to give you an example of innovation. So the key point here, you don't need to develop the next TikTok. Don't worry yourself about developing the next TikTok. All you need to do is to focus on improving one thing that matters. Just improving one thing that matters. You don't have to create. People are fond of, I'm going to do the next Facebook. I'm going to develop the next Twitter. I'm going to develop the next TikTok. No. You can innovate. You can create an application that feeds on TikTok. You can create an innovation that feeds on Instagram. Instead of wasting your time to compete with them, you can't. So who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person that takes initiative, that solves problems, that builds value for others, and takes calculated risk. And the mindset of an entrepreneur is he has to be resilient, he has to be curious, he has to have the willingness to learn. Entrepreneurs are always learning. You have to get feedback. He has to have empathy, understanding other people's needs. And let me share something with you here that I'm sure most of you will not think about. I just realized that I have not yet seen an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, that started with the aim of making money. Yes. From all the research that I've done, I have not yet seen a successful entrepreneur, either globally or nationally or locally. Go and ask whoever you want to ask, any big businessman that you see. Ask him. The main motivation when he started was not to make money. So if your motivation is to make money, then you don't qualify to be an entrepreneur. You just want to make money. So you have to differentiate between trying to solve a problem. I'm not saying that I don't like money or entrepreneurs don't like money. No. Entrepreneurs always start with the mindset of solving problems. Like this young man was talking about solving a problem, a housing problem, because there are so many squatters. He is worried. You are worried. You want to see that people are getting hostile. Abi, he will make money because when you solve a problem, money has a way of following problems that are solved. The woman that just say in your lie, in your angwa, akara, she's solving a problem because people are looking for what to break fast with. So she's now brought her beans and oil and she's frying akara on the roadside. She's solving a problem. The mindset is not to make money, it's to solve a problem. But in the course of solving that problem, you will make money. So how do you turn your idea into action? Start small. Begin with a sketch, with a prototype pitch. Like in your case, don't give up. Start thinking about it now. Start identifying people in your locality. Meet people that are architects, that are studying architecture in your school. Let them start designing small properties. Excellent, excellent. Don't give up. Go to banks, go to estate shows. Get somebody to invest in your idea. Start small. Have pitch. Know the demographic. How many people are looking for hostel every year? What is the economics? How much are you going to get? And how are you going to make money? How is the investor going to get his money? How many years is he going to take him to make his money out? Start with that. Never give up. Talk to people. Get feedbacks. Talk to people that have built hostels in Kasu. There are a lot of hostels built around Kasu. Why? How? What are they going through? What are the challenges? Apart from ABU, there are also schools in Zaria, the FCE and the state. You can blow this thing into a big idea. It's a very, very big one, I'm telling you. So use what you have. Never wait until you blow. Don't allow people to tell you that you are still a student. Wait until you graduate. Start now. A lot of people started when they were in school. But do not let it distract you from your education. That's your primary goal, right? But start from what you have, with your phone, with your laptop. Start from social media. That is why I told him he doesn't have to wait until he publishes that book. Use TikTok. Start talking about it. You are the TikTok lawyer. Create a page. It's free. TikTok lawyer. Do you know that this is your right? Do you know that before you know, people are sharing your videos? Create a YouTube channel. That is a TV station for you. Start making podcasts. That's free. People will be communicating with you, and then before you know it, you can even make money from YouTube. You can monetize. The moment you have 10,000 viewers on YouTube, YouTube will start paying you. TikTok will start paying you. Am I right? You see money there, right? So start with what you have and collaborate. Work with friends who complement your ideas. You can't do it alone. Get people that have the same passion with you. Bring them closer. If you have an idea about robotics, but you don't know anything about robotics, get a robotic engineer. You are interested in maybe solving the problem of weapons, get somebody that knows about conflict resolution and how do you develop the technology to detect. You may not have, you read business administration, you are not knowledgeable in hardware. Get somebody that knows hardware. So there are common challenges. This is where we're going to run up. When you are coming up with ideas, there's a fear of failure. People will be afraid. People will tell you that, this thing is not going to go anywhere. Every great innovator failed fast. Failure. I want you to concentrate here. If you're not taking anything from me today, take this. Failure is not the opposite of success. We've been programmed to think that failure is the opposite of success. No. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. 0 is not the opposite of 100. Or 0 is not the opposite of 1. Before you get to that place called success, you have to cross over a bridge called failure. You get my point? There's no entrepreneur that you name today, from Alika Dangote to the woman that sells akara on your street. If you see a successful businessman, he must have failed more than he had won. Last year, I've had awards. I've been giving awards all over the world. We've expanded our business to Tanzania, to Kigali. I have offices in a lot of African countries. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tried me last year. We lost a lot of money. It even affected my heart, my health. We crashed. But because I'm a Muslim, I knew who gave can take. Because he's Al-Razak, Al-Mannan, Al-Ghani, right? And Al-Karim. He can give you whenever he wills, he can take it away. And as a Muslim, you have to take lesson in that. So failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. It is called failing forward. When you fail, you learn from your failure. We are where we are today because of the many, many things that we've done in the past. The failure. I have failed more than succeeding. And I'm proud of it because each failure taught me a lesson. So do not be afraid of failure. Do not be disturbed by lack of funds. When we started our businesses, we never worried about funds because money has a way of following good ideas. There are people that are sitting on money. Kudi dabang, arziki dabang. There's a difference between cash and wealth. A wealthy person is the one that has ideas. A wealthy person, when he's broke, he can come back. But when the person that has money, when the money finishes, is the same person that maybe wins a lottery. When you win a lottery, the money finishes, you can't make it back. Because kudi dabang, arziki dabang. Wealth and cash are two different things. Don't allow people that doubt you to discourage you. Believe in your idea and stay focused. Final shot. This is my last. Your generation, you are the next leaders. You are the next generation of leaders, whether you like it or not. And don't wait to be great. Start now with what you have and where you are. Your ideas could change your community, your country, and even the world. The best way to predict the future is to do what? Create it. And I'll tell you something, never ever allow anybody to tell you that it is impossible. Impossible does not exist, because nobody has received a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are not going to buy Dangote's refinery. Never allow anybody to tell you that it's not possible. I've said what I've said, and I ask Allah to forgive me for all that I said. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Am I on time? Yes.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think we deserve more than that.
Come on. Akramakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
What do we say to the people that are good to us? Jazakallahu khairan. Let's echo it again. Jazakallahu. Jazakallahu. For me to actually know that we've not wasted this time, who wants to share a time you failed and you bounced back and you were better for it? I will share an example of one of my lecturers in the Department of Geology in Obafemi Awolowo University. He was taking a course, and if you know anything about OAU, the most difficult department in OAU is geology. They fail. Even sometimes, their best students only have probably second class upper. There are even some years then that nobody graduates from the entire department. And this particular lecturer of mine, who is the chief imam of the university I finished from, he went into the hall, his examination hall one day, and he had something they call brain block. Do you understand what brain block is? When your brain refuses to function, you can't recall any information using your brain. So he got to the exam hall. Even for the first 20, 30 minutes, he could not write his name. He could not write his matriculation number. And later on, he was able to write his matriculation number before his brain got open. And he said it was that day he acknowledged the power of prayer. He felt so confident that he was going to get an A in that course that he did not even pray while writing that course. His brain did not open until it was 20 minutes to the end of the exam. And when he started writing, he got an F. So he had to retake that class. And he was the one leading, teaching other students about that particular subject or course during tutorials. He failed. Then he had to retake that course. The next year when he was retaking that course, he said there was nothing the lecturer was teaching that he already doesn't know. He said, and do we believe that when he retook that course, he broke a record? But that particular course, nobody has gotten an A in that course for the past 20 years. And he was the first person in 20 years to get an A when he retook that course. So like our facilitator just mentioned, that failure is actually when you quit, when you stop doing. As long as you are still doing, failures will be coming, and they will also be attracting successes. So now for me to understand, for me to agree that you fully understand what the facilitator has said, who wants to share a time where you supposedly failed and you bounced back from your failure? One or two persons? I already have one. Thank you.
I want to go out now for photograph because he has to be picked up soon.
Okay, so you want to pick some students?
Yeah, so you use the criteria, boys and girls.
Okay.
Just as we did earlier on,
Okay.
we came up and go out and have a photograph and come back
And
again.
then he gave up. I hated my siblings. But alhamdulillah, 2 years later, I got someone that took me as a whole child and take care of me, gave me everything that I want, and gave me the best education that I deserve.
Alhamdulillah. Allah Akbar. Thank you very much. Another person, then we'll go out for our session, our picture session.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
This is heart touching actually. It happens that I have graduated from a university in Sudan. A week to my results, the war started. And we have to come back to Nigeria. And I was unable to get my certificates. Alhamdulillah, after series of depression and all those, I overcome myself and I joined the university again, Northeastern University, Gombe. And I see, thank God for going back to the university because I studied Sharia law in Sudan. But here we are practicing common law. When I started in 200 level, I see so many things different from what I have been taught back in Sudan. And I'm proud of going back. And now I'm currently a 5-point student in that university. Thank you very much.
Allahu Akbar. So you ran law twice, right? Please remain standing. Help me pick 10 guys that will follow our facilitator for picture session. Please, yeah, we'll take late. Just help me give him the microphone. Pick 10 guys, and my sister here, start looking at the 10 ladies you will also pick for pictures.
Okay, I will go with the former mentor, anyone among the girls who has participated.
No, leave girls. So boys, face your boys.
Okay, let's go with my...
Or probably pick 6, not 10. Just pick 6.
Let's go with my friend over there, and also this.
2.
And I will be biased. Let me pick my brother.
3.
So let me pick someone. Let me pick this gentleman out there.
4. You will not pick yourself?
Okay.
5. Then one more.
Myself, let me pick him.
6. Okay, Aja, pick your own 6.
I'll pick myself again on pink veil.
Pink veil?
Yes, this one on pink. Or red hijab and Hawa.
Okay, please, those people selected, please let's work out to have a good picture with the facilitator before he leaves. Please just give us about 2-3 minutes. We'll be back, inshallah. Not big, 2-3 minutes.